Hello, this is Andrew Faldy, and I'm showing you a back test of an options trade that is my core options trade, and that is a broken wing butterfly in the SPX. And you can see that it has decent performance, but like any strategy that's based on a certain set of market conditions, when those conditions aren't met, often we'll have either a period of no performance or underperforming or even drawdown. So you can see this is no different, that generally it goes up, long periods of performance, and then during periods of higher volatility or big swings in the market, a trade like this typically won't do well. So rather than spending a lot of time trying to predict what the next month or the next 3 months is going to look like in the market, or take guesses or hedge trades ineffectively based on fear, I go out in a proactive way and find strategies that outperform during periods like that. And then when this trade is doing well, this core trade is doing well, isn't going to just give it all back. So I'm looking for something that also goes up, but tends to have different types of swings. So in theory, in the ideal world, every time this trade is doing well, maybe another trade is doing sideways or moderate. When this trade is pulling back, another trade does very well. And so if I can keep that kind of thing going on like this, then those two trades work together where I can net them out and just have the same general performance with less drawdown. That's the goal. So here is, now that's theory, so let's see this in a little bit more practice. So this is the options trade, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to move this chart out of the way, and behind that one you can see this system here. And this is an ETF long-short portfolio. Is back tested over the same period of time, and you can see the net results of that. Very similar long-term shape, just rising at the same pace. However, you can see when the market neutral trade does better, this one doesn't do as well. When the market neutral trade is struggling a little bit more, you can see this one accelerates in its performance. And then when the market neutral trade gets into a better market condition and really starts to catch up, this one doesn't pull back. All it does is start to go sideways. It's not doing as well. So that's the idea of both working over time, both being able to control their own risk, not crash during the less ideal times, hold their own, minimize their own drawdown, defined and designed to do okay, at least under control. And then when things are ideal, which would be nice to know that they're going to be ideal next month, but we don't know that. We don't know that for certain. But we know that if it's ideal, this is going to do great. And if it's not ideal, the drawdown will be under control. So we run both of those at the same time. So I have the long-short ETF portfolio, the market-neutral index portfolio trade put together. And you see, looks good matched together. And well, the next chart actually shows what if you apply half of each, not actually half, it's a little bit different allocation that I'll describe in a second, but you can see the dark blue line here is now if you allocate to each of these strategies, that you actually wind up with the blue line in the middle. So that means if you just did the options trade, you'd have these steeper drawdowns. If you just did the ETF portfolio, that actually does well most of the time, but a lot of times this market neutral trade really outshines. In the last 2.5 years of this back test, this trade specifically, this options trade, has undergone several periods of time where it's a little bit harder than you would expect, or harder than a long-term back test would show. So that's why I've gone ahead and it's a great period of time to do an in-depth study of market neutral trades and good ways to design them and defend them, and pair them up with trades that might actually do a good job of hedging and reducing drawdown, but increasing total performance together. So this portfolio nets out at 95% a year with 5% drawdowns. And each of them on their own are not able to do drawdowns that small, but collectively it does better on its own. So we are working on these things together in the systems testing workshops and the options strategy workshops that happen every Wednesday. Is one of those, not every Wednesday, but it's twice a month for each. So if there's 5 Wednesdays in 1 month, then there's 1 week off. And if you'd like to come in and join those, they're both available for $1 first month trial, so very affordable if you want to come in and learn about both directional automation and options trades as well. If you're interested in very specifically how this portfolio is configured and how to model this for yourself, that's a very complex topic requiring education about the option strategies, the automation, the different platforms, the maintenance routines, etc. So if you're interested in that, you can send me an email. I can give you a little information about how you can proceed with that, but that will be a much more in-depth project if that's something you're interested in as well. So you can send an email to afaldi@smbcap.com, put in the subject options and ETF portfolio. Just express you have a little interest in that, ask any questions you would like, and I'll let you know what the next steps would be if you want to learn more about this specific model portfolio that I've developed. All right, that's it, and I'll hope to see you in one of the workshops soon and another video from SMB. Thanks.